Alright, I think that this is ready to go. Provided I didn't change anything from last time I did this, but here we are! Welcome on in, everyone. I'm just gonna let this song play out while we give people a chance to arrive. Surprise, it's me. Yes, hello everybody. Thank you for all joining me. It's always much appreciated in these little silly things that I end up doing. So yeah, I just thought I'd put a few things on display, because since joining Twitter, maybe against my better judgment, I've noticed that people drew fan art of the Valentino cover, which is kind of like insane to me in a little bit. Let me find something decent to put on in the background. You can tell I've really thought carefully about this. Oh, this'll do. Instrumental, so the vocals won't get in the way. Hello, yes, hi everybody. I'm just gonna warn everybody now that the stream is on a slight bit of a delay, so it might take me a moment for me to answer any questions you might have or anything else like that. But I will read everything I can, and thanks you all for being here. We've already got like 83 people showing up. Like, dude. Hi everybody, hi. I did it, it's playing in the background, look at that. Right, duly noted, Weeby. Again, if anyone needs to catch up to this later when it's kind of all over, then it will be on viewing things later, just like before. Just like last time, yeah. Loyal has-been fans are loyal. Well, I should hope so, because that's something I'm actually going to talk about a little bit. How this song in particular has kind of exploded a little bit, and that's kind of been surprising to me to consider more than anything else. Another thing to mind, if anything's like too loud or quiet, please tell me, because I might be an audio person, but I'm not very good at balancing these things live in any capacity. So I might need to make like backing music a little bit quieter or whatever the case may be. Sorry, it's still just a little bit mind-blowing that there's like over 80 people here just to say hi. I've got like no format for this, whatever. Also, no, I will not take down your fan art. It's very, very good, and you should not put yourself down like that. And really, anybody whose work I'm featuring here is just taking me by surprise. Because now people can tag me on Twitter. I then suddenly got, by the way, I made this, or by the way, he's on Twitter. I want to say I was inspired by this one, sort of thing. I'll just go let this song play out, and then we'll go over the itinerary for this little evening stream. It's going to be quite similar to the last one. We'll just talk, we'll be chat casual about it, and maybe do some silly audio things, maybe give you a teaser of what I'm doing afterwards. Stuff like that. Alright, so let's move on into the brunt of things, shall we? Welcome to the second live stream, everybody. For those of you who, well, I imagine should know who I am by now, my name's Paranoid DJ. I am a sound designer, a musician, and I've been doing a lot of things that people seem to like in the has-been community lately. It's nice to see you all here. And yeah, it's going to be quite similar to the original stream in that we're just going to talk a bit. I'm going to answer any questions that you might have, or as many as I can, because the chat goes by quite quickly, so I'll do my best to keep up. And then I'll show you a little bit behind how I made the recent Valentino cover, including all of the music and how I laid out the voices and everything too. And then I'll do another, there's one kind of audio thing I kind of want to show off a little bit, just for a bit of fun. And we'll see what happens. Yes, hello everyone. Okay, so with all the silly introductions out of the way, shall we get on with answering and talking a little bit about things? Also, yes, Heavenly Players Bean is doing just fine, and I do have a picture of her handy in case anyone wants to see her, and it's the perfect picture of her that I could have taken. It was just a perfect opportune moment, so if anyone's interested in that, I'll put her up on screen at some point. Think of making any more songs for Alistair? I want to. The only problem with making Alistair songs is that they have to be time period appropriate. I wouldn't want to choose a modern song for him because it wouldn't really work. But I've had a few ideas. There's another Vera Lynn song actually called Wishing Will Make It So, which I've always loved, that might go well for him, but we'll see. Also, Cookies, I didn't expect you to be here. Yeah, I'm streaming late because most people who watch me don't tend to be from this country, so I'm trying to do like the best of both worlds situation so people can show up. Okay, we want to see the bean, do we? Okay. Well, for those of you who don't know, I mentioned this in my last stream, but Bean is my leopard gecko, and she is a curious and silly little thing. And I happened to take this picture of her just at the opportune moment where she was alert, for lack of a better term. So, unceremoniously, this is Bean. Say hello, everybody. That's just in front of her where she drinks from. So I caught her kind of like mid-sip, and when she saw the phone coming closer, she stopped immediately and was like, "What?" So here she is. That is the little bean. Right now she's sleeping, otherwise she'd probably be judging me in the exact same way. But there she is. Yes, she is best girl. The best. I actually got Bean about 4 years ago, or it will be 4 years in March. I actually got her from the same pet shop my brother works at. She was very, very tiny then. She initially had an illness around her mouth that we need to treat first, but she's all better now, and she's quite big. She'll happily fill out the palm of your hand at this moment in time. So, she's doing fine. I like that. Lolly is a gecko name. I've always maintained that I think that geckos should have names related to food or like single syllable words and stuff, because it just works the best. She's coming up on 4 years old, Cartoon Goddess, as of March, because that's when I got her. So that's what I've been counting her age as. She was only a very small baby when I got her. Okay, say goodbye, Bean. Right. And yes, she is living her absolute best life. I assure you all of that. She gets spoiled. So yeah, just a bit of a pre-warn before we get into other more serious questions and answers, because I need to mention this before. As the rules along the bottom say, I only have really basic things that I want to happen in the chat. Basically, be civil to one another, do not mention politics whatsoever, and don't be antagonistic on purpose, because no one really wants that. Apart from that, ask away. Again, there is a slight delay between when people will ask me questions and when I will see them, and when you will hear them, because the stream's on a delay. But I will answer as many as I can, for those of you who are curious. And yeah, let me have it, for lack of a better term. Yes, she is my fat nuggets, ninja. Not as portable, because she's quite small, but yes. And thank you for showing up, Wolf. It's always appreciated when anyone shows up to my silly things. Answering both Heavenly Plays and Christiana, there is actually another song cover that I have started work on. And this one is actually going to be a duet with someone else when we finally get it off the ground. I'll play a little bit of the instrumental that I finished for it later on. I'm not going to say what it is, because I'm cruel like that, but I'll play a little bit later on so you can make your own guesses as to what it could be and who's singing it. So yeah, I am working on other things. In terms of like working on other stuff in general, I've been contacted by 2 different groups of people who have basically assembling their own projects together that they need sound design for. So they've approached me for that. So I've been busy doing testing for that and getting to know the people on that. I have 2 new dubs that are on the way. One of them has been, one of them isn't. With any luck, I should have those finished by next week. Apart from that, the other ones I'm waiting on finish. I'm still waiting for the final few pages of Rescue and Revelations, because we have an epilogue finally coming out, but there's still like 3 more pages to go before I can do it. But once that's done, that'll be completed. There's a few things in the works. I know there's been like a bit of a drought since the Valentino cover, and that's purely just because people were like, hey, you're good, can you do things for us? And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna do it. So yeah, I'm busy and things are on the way, but don't fret, they'll be uploaded eventually. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Cookies, because a lot of other people liked it a lot too, for the same reasons. The comic itself was fantastic, and I'm very anxious to see a part 2, both for selfish reasons and also because I want to make more dubs of it. So, rest assured, I will do more of the Stolas voice. Thank you. I really sound like Angel Dust.
Well, I can if I put the voice on a little bit, but not normally.
Yeah, see? I did it wrong there. Not normally. Did I see the new gift for the upcoming Hell of a Boss episodes? Yes! And I'm both confused and curious. I need an explanation for the spray bottle of piss, please. I don't get that. Yes, Novice. There's a lot of Owl City songs that could work in this universe. Especially that one. I love... Owl City is like one of my favourite... Is it right to call them a band? Because it's just one person, but yeah, I love their work. My next upload project going to be... It's probably going to be the Has-Been dub that I'm doing first. It might please some of the Husk and Angel people. Maybe. And then I've got a non-Has-Been one that I want to do that will come afterwards. But those will be the ones afterwards. Do I have any dreams? Well, everyone has dreams, I guess. Sheila, do I have any voices that I enjoy performing outside of Has-Been? I mean, I've been called a natural mimic in a lot of different ways. I've been told I can impersonate some Disney characters quite well. Not the main trio of animated ones, but, you know, I can sing the Hercules songs, if that's an indication. But, you know, most of the time when I'm doing voices, I'm trying to come up with maybe ones that don't have a voice of their own yet, because it gives you more creative freedom. So, like with things like Valentino, and in the non-Has-Been comic that I want to do, and the Aliens dub that I'm doing, where there's about 7 different characters, you have to think about how they could be different from each other, and I am asking for help with that one too. The Alien one I'm going to be very proud of when we get it done. It's going to be interesting, but it's a lot of work, so be patient, please. Cartoon Goddess, yes, I did check out a Black Bear song. I don't know if it was you who recommended it to me on Twitter. The Queen of Broken Hearts one, it was pretty good. I've never heard of them before, but it seemed to fit. E.T. is good for Angel and Al. I can kind of see that, actually, now I think about it. Though I haven't listened to E.T. in God knows how long. Long time. Wait, since your Lucifer voice is fairly similar to your natural voice, would a Lucifer song be essentially your natural singing voice? Well, for the Lucifer voice, you need to have a much more softer tone when you're talking. So it's not completely like my normal voice. He has an accent that's kind of down further south of the country, in terms of England, that would work. But in terms of general tone, it would be close to me, yes. Please, can you say my name Rachel in Angel's voice? Is that good enough? I haven't warmed up properly, that might have sounded terrible, I'm sorry. What was one of your first projects when it came to sound design, Pixelated? The first project I ever did when I was doing sound design was when I was learning it at university. We were given 2 different videos that had no sound on them whatsoever. And we were told, add in all of the noise. So all the background music, all the sound effects, all of the everything, pretty much. Those was the first ones that I ever did, and that was one of the modules I scored the best in. And I just transferred those skills to the Angel comic the first time. Because I thought, well, no one's really doing sound design for these things, so I'll give it a go, and the rest is history. Otherwise, you wouldn't all be sat here listening to me. Ninja, yeah, Bloody Mary's really good. There's a lot of Gaga songs that work well for Angel. There's just that sort of tone to them. And the subject matter. I mean, obviously, I've done 911, there's Do What You Want. There's a lot of... Even Alice from Chromatica or Rain on Me or anything else like that, like, they work for him. So yes, I agree. Glad you think so, Tamira. Really, like, Lucifer's voice is just being very sort of... kind of royal, but not really. And then adding in sort of like the reverse reverb to show this guy's not just a person sort of deal. Can Angel even pronounce my name? I would like him to try.
What is that? Is it Aelin? Aelin you? I don't fucking know.
Last stream I said I would commit war crimes if you didn't become Valentino's VA. I still stand by that. It's not worth committing war crimes over, guys. I'm glad you enjoy it, but please. Azra, will I do more Melanie covers? Maybe. Truth be told, I've not listened to a lot of Melanie Martinez. I actually didn't start hearing a lot of her stuff until people started suggesting that she would fit Angel, so I need to listen to more of her to be certain of that. Nice animation.
3 days until another big one, huh, Haley? Well, happy birthday. Don't do anything I wouldn't. Which is, not a lot.
I'd really love to hear your natural singing voice someday. It's possible. I mean, I will say one of the covers I've actually had a bit of trouble with is trying to do You'll Be Okay in Stolas's voice. Because when it starts getting up to the higher ranges, it's really hard to maintain the way which he says certain words, so my actual normal voice starts slipping through. That won't ever see the light of day, because I want to remain in character, but... yeah, maybe. It's one of those things that's difficult to control sometimes. I have a request for a song to put on YouTube. Could you sing Ready Set by Killer? I'll listen to it and see if it works. I always want to try and choose songs that will fit these characters the best in terms of subject matter, or whether it's something that would fit their personality. Which, on another note, the Valentino discovery was inspired. Someone said it in a random comment. Oh god, I can't remember the name of the person who said it off the top of my head, but bless them for whoever suggested it, because I literally had no idea until they pointed it out to me. Last time I heard you do a Yeezma impression, since you're a Disney fan, would you see any Disney covers in the future? Disney's got a big catalogue to choose from. I'll say never, but I can't guarantee it. There's a lot. What is your favorite type of demon? I like the ones that are in actual demonology, mostly because, as you can hear from the background, with Silent Hill being rooted in demonology, there's a lot of stuff in there that's quite interesting. Glowstick. In terms of auditioning for Valentino, I'm pretty certain that they're not going to do it. They did in the same way they did it for the pilot. If it's at an actual studio now, they'll have their own processes for it. If the chance ever came up, I'd give it a try. The problem is with the Valentino voice is that hearing the raw recordings on their own isn't as impactful as when I apply the audio artifact to him to make him sound with that insect buzz. So how good that would be just for them to listen to, I don't know. How long's the stream going to be? Probably a couple of hours, or however long I dictate it. I've not got a real set structure or time for any of this. I'm just chatting, because it's been a busy week. I've been working solidly on loads of sound, and I just want a chance to do something fun. And also to warn or make people aware that I'm not dead just because I haven't posted in almost 2 weeks. If you could voice a female character, which one would you like to voice? Bayonetta would probably be my choice, because Helena Taylor, her voice actress, is a wonderful person and a wonderful voice actress. And just to be able to project that level of confidence and sass would be pretty fun. I can't believe I'm gonna do this, but...
Can Angel say my name, Meg? Come on, guys, I thought you'd be asking me to do all kinds of stupid stuff. Names ain't nothing.
Could you sing the refrain part from 911? Well, which 911? And if by refrain do you mean the scream? Because that's not a good idea. Yes, Sasuke Valentino doing Poor Unfortunate Soul would be perfect. Also because Ursula's just the best. Starkami Theatre, what's your favourite horror movie? That's a difficult question. I'm a big horror fan, so there's a lot of ones that do different jobs for me. I like a lot of ghost stories that have supernatural things, and there's favourites in that, and then there's ones that are like suspense things, like Saw, stuff like that. I can't give a single title. Dalamar, what is your favourite character to voice? It used to be Angel. As of right now, because of all the simps that are coming out, I think Valentino's probably the one that is more enjoyable, just because he also gets to act like a prick. Which is something I think is needed in a lot of modern media. There just needs to be moments where a character is allowed to be an arsehole, and he isn't redeemable, and that's what makes it enjoyable. It's not condoning what he is, it's just enjoying the fact that he is that despicable. When you scream, does that throw away your voice? If you don't do proper preparation, it can. But if you drink enough water and you kind of know what you're aiming for, you can get it in one take, and that's enough. Can you sing a show and tell piece? Is it like a fragment of it? Maybe later. It might be part of one of the audio funnies. Perhaps. How do I do Val's voice so good? The thing is with Val is that he seems to be like a character who has a very set way that he says everything. Like if you look at the way that he talks in the comic and the way that he spoke on his Instagrams, it has that sort of smooth, I don't know, is it intonation is the right word for it? That seems to fit him quite well. So I just emulate that and then add on the insect buzz, and that seems to do the job. Again, the only problem is that without the insect buzz, hearing the raw audio on its own doesn't sound that great. At least not to me, but that might be me being too harsh on myself.
Can Val tell us all to fuck off?
You're gonna join Cherry a turf war anytime soon. I don't think you could stop him if you wanted to. I'm glad you think that way, Video Reacts. I mean, until I did the Valentino cover, that was the one I was the most proud of. So yeah, I'm glad people are still getting traction out of that. What inspired me to make an Angel and Vox cover? Really, as I said, it was the suggestion in the comments where someone said, hey, there's this song called Valentino, have you heard it? That would work well for Angel. And then I listened to it, and because it's two different male singers talking about how they're essentially trapped with someone called Valentino, I was like, it has to be Angel and Vox. This is too perfect. It was like out more than half a year before the pilot, and it was perfect. I couldn't like not do that. So I did. And then that's a thing. I should actually make this clear while have your all attention. Some people were telling me about an animatic regarding Valentino that Raphael, I think I'm saying their name right, had put up as part of, like, they'd used the song for like an animatic with Angel, Valentino, and Vox. I didn't know that this was a thing until after people said that it had been taken down, like about 15 minutes after it uploaded, and I was like, oh, well, that's a shame. I don't know. I never saw it. I didn't know what was in the animatic. I just was told that there was some sort of relation. And then I did have a look on their Twitter profile, because I did used to go look at Twitter profiles to check art and stuff before I got an account this week. And then they made that comment about this is a big coincidence. Now, I'm not going to jump to too many conclusions. I've had no contact with them whatsoever regarding anything to do with the song, so I might just be putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5. But I just thought the timing was enough to be like, especially because I know that, thankfully, they have listened to some of the other songs and enjoyed them. And also, they're a great artist. I mean, they did the Red Smoke comic. They've done a lot. They're a storyboarder for Helliver, you know, they have the skill. So to have that recognition from them was quite nice. You said your voice sounds weird without the effect, but it sounds awesome. The funny thing is that to get his voice that sort of low and growly, I have to like really relax my throat to do that. So I'm actually kind of surprised I pulled that off, if I'm going to be very honest. Val takes a bit of practice to get into voicing him properly. You're the best, bro. What's your favorite thing to do when you've got a day to yourself? It's either watch Bean be silly, because she's good at that, or it's playing games, and there's quite a few games that's that have been got my attention for like years now. I'm a big Dead by Daylight fan. Plague Mains. I know you're out there somewhere, and I'm one of them. This year we've got the remake of Nier Replicant, which is gonna break my heart all over again. We've got Resident Evil Village, in which case I will literally have my heart broken by a certain lady. But yeah, if I'm not doing like games and stuff, I'm either talking to the people I know or I'm doing music of some description. So, well, I'm glad I said it correctly, Christy. I'll get this wrong now, Christiana. Summer Neko, this is the soundtrack to Silent Hill 3. Just like last time, because I am a Silent Hill simp.
Hey, Alistair, your mom gay!
I'm surprised I haven't been asked to do that sooner. Glowstick, I am torn between 3 killers in DVD. I really like Nurse, although you're right, she is broken. I really like the Spirit, and I think Plague probably is the best for me. She just looks awesome, and her power's really fun. Do you think you'll do a code for Stosis? You will be okay? Yeah, that is happening. That's going to take more practice, though, because when he starts getting up into the higher ranges, my actual voice starts slipping through, and we can't have that when we're in character. I can't read any has-been comment where Valentino speaks without hearing your version in my head. I am still floored by the fact that people like that so much. And I don't know why, but thank you. You're very welcome, Weirdo. It's fun to have a chance to just talk and do something silly like this in between me making stuff. Mostly because, like, when I got a Twitter this week, I didn't realize how many people on there already knew who I was. Because I've been so averse to getting a Twitter account up until I made the decision, like, right, people are on there, that's where I'm getting most of the artwork for the dubs from anyway. I should be on there so I can credit people technically in person rather than after the fact. But I didn't realize there were so many people on there who kind of knew who I was already. which was very humbling and very nice. I've already got like almost 500 people following me, and I've barely posted anything. So thanks for that. Yes, Connie, thank you. The Haunting of Hill House dialogue was very fun to try. It's very rare that you have a chance to be sort of that emotional, and that show is perfect for that sort of thing. I was tempted to do more from it actually recently, like the monologues when... Spoilers, in the last few episodes, the monologues of the people talking to the main characters. I kind of want to do a few of them because they start off so kind of normal and they just get slowly creepier and creepier as it goes, which, as a horror fan, I would love to do. You mentioned you like horror and video games. Have you played the Fear games and did you enjoy them? I've played the first 2, and I saw a playthrough for 3. They were fun. I wouldn't call them super strong horror experiences, but they were fun. What are your warm-ups for your voices? Like, what phrase do you say to get into character? Really, it's just going over the lines I'm about to voice, just like as rough takes, and drinking loads of water. And then once that's ready, then I'll do a proper recording. Happy Hotel Dubs, thank you for being here. It's currently about 20 to 11, so it's going. But I'm here for your enjoyment because this is the best compromise I have for people actually being able to show up. I mean, there's almost 100 people sat in here, so... Yes, Glowstick, Angel would flirt with anybody that he could, especially Pyramid Head. I mean, come on, look at him. J-Rox, what do you advise for those who want to do comic dubs and sound design? It's mostly... You need to have a knack for attention to detail when it comes to sound design. There's a lot of noises and stuff in like movie scenes and animation that if they're not there, you'll notice they're not there. But if they are there, they just sound completely natural. So if we take an example of like Alistair's sound design, the pilot itself, you might have seen the sound designers themselves post up just the Foley to show what they did for him. There's a lot of times where they're having in movements similar to what I do, where, you know, there's like a movement that he does with like his clothes, and there's like a clothing rustle. If that isn't there, it looks very odd, but because it is there, it feels natural. So you need to have an idea... Sorry, you need to have an eye for the details of a scene. You need to watch carefully, you need to make sure that you're making sure that things sync up correctly. And after that, it's just practice. I mean, anyone with enough practice and determination can do what I do. I might have an advantage because I have a degree in this stuff, but anybody can learn it, and I promise you that you can. Mazina, I'm not under the strict username as just Paranoid DJ. Let me actually grab it here. It automatically assigned a number to the end because Twitter does that, I guess. The actual handle that I have for Twitter, I'll post it in the chat now, is that with the 1. If you type in that, that's the Twitter page that I'm using for now. Also, Christiana, no, I don't have Instagram. I would not have a need for it. Twitter, I can see that I do, because obviously it's got more people in contact with me, but with Instagram, I would literally have no reason to have anything on there at all. Dalamar, what program would you suggest for getting sound design for an amateur voice actor? Really, any recording setup will do. What matters more than your equipment when you're first doing it is the quality of your recording, so that is mostly the room in which you record. Like right now, you might hear that my microphone currently, because of where I positioned it to do this, is picking up a bit of the fan noise from my computer because I've situated it too closely. Usually when I'm recording voices, I will set up I guess I'll call it a blanket fort, that will mute and muffle the sound around me so there is no background noise that the microphone can pick up, and, you know, there's no reverb, there's no other noises, and then my voice will sound as clear as possible. So mostly you need to focus on eliminating that And, you know, I'm using a USB microphone right now, as I've been doing for a long time now. I'm not using analog equipment, although that is technically better. But you can still make good recordings as long as you treat the environment you're recording it in first. How you record it afterwards, whether you're just using like Audacity or FL like I do or anything of that note, then anything will work. Christiana, do I have an OC? I don't, but there is a mascot that has been Weeby designed a while ago, which I think is adorable, and I would love to have that as the official one. I know you said this is Val, but can you say fuck off as Vox? Well, the thing is, when I talk as Vox, he is quite close to my natural range. I just end up putting on an American accent. So, and it doesn't sound right without the effects on, but that's literally all Vox's voice is. So, fuck off, I guess. Can Angel just say, I will break a bottle over your head, Val, in a... Angel with a Russian accent. God, I'd need to think about that one. I don't know if I can do it on the fly. Lana! Hi! Thank you for being here. It's nice to see... Bye, everyone check out Lana. She's good. By all means, ask away, do what you want. That's what I'm here for. Heavenly Plays, if you weren't voice acting, what other job would you like to do? Anything doing actual music. Most of my degree was in particular music production, so if I could have a job doing something like that, I would want to do that. But music in particular, more so than voice acting, is definitely more about your connections rather than what you know. So that's much bigger of an undertaking to get into. Please stop mentioning me, DJ. It's embarrassing. No! Be proud of your work. It's good. May I play... Please? Alright. Alright, let me try this. What are those?! They are my Crocs. Can Angel rickroll us, please? How would he even do that? Just send the link?
Bang, bang, baby.
This is so silly. Have I heard of Castlevania? Yes, I have. I haven't actually played a lot of the Castlevanias, but the music is top-notch. Honestly, really is. So I like how the Silent Hill soundtrack started going a bit spooky just the moment that it stopped. Of course it did. Of course it did! I'm actually going to put on something a little bit nicer. I'm going to put this on actually in mourning for what we have lost this week. For those of you who don't know, that we have lost a pair of musical legends this week, and we should all pay our respects humbly. Stakami, what inspired you to voice act? Just because I wanted to. I've been told I can impersonate people fairly well for quite a while now, and I just thought I'd throw it out there and see what happened, because I hadn't posted anything to my YouTube channel in about 4 years before I did the Angel comic. And people liked it, so I've just kept doing it. God, all these requests you're asking me is fantastic.
I love you, bitch! Never gonna stop loving you, bitch!
Is there going to be a Discord server in the future? I would not know the first thing about setting up a Discord server. I don't even know what could be on there. I mean, considering how much time I have to take to make these subjects, I don't know what you'd be waiting for exactly, but... Again, never say never. I mean, people have been asking me about Spotify for about 3 months, and I've just been so bad at getting that going. So... Oh, I hate when iTunes does this. It just freezes for a moment for no reason. Thank you. How's the day going so far? Well, the day for me is almost over. It's like 11:15, but it has gone uneventfully, as normal. I like how people are just asking me to do what Michael's already done.
Yeah, well, guess what, motherfuckers? I can play the Rugrats theme!
Have you taken any voice lessons since you published covers? I have not had any official training in singing whatsoever. I've had to basically hone that skill. I mean, even then, my voice at singing is not the best consistently. I have to do a lot of takes to make the songs sound like they do. I'm not as talented as some people who can just do it without even trying. Bye, not Valentino. Just to clarify, he's not Valentino, guys, so don't do anything nasty. How old am I, Summoneko? I'm 27. Soon to be 28 in March. Yes, Weeby, I did see that earlier. Casta Kiana, I hope I said that right. It's alright if you couldn't be here. I'm saying hi now. Yeah, that's what I mean. People from South Carolina. I've had to try and choose a time that would be the best for everyone. Ismaelites Valentino. God. Like, he's just... Like, he says that opening throne room scene to Angel.
It's no concern of mine whether you have... What was it again? Food? Ha! You really should have thought of that before you became my bitch.
I don't sound like I'm 27. Apparently not. I mean, I just think I sound like me. I don't think of age, to be honest, because I think if you do, it just makes you sad. So... God, what are you making me do? God, at least the Val voice still kind of works for people even without the insect buzz, so thanks for that. I'm living for this. We all are. I'll see you're very welcome, Christiana. I mean, that's literally the whole reason I do this stuff. It's just because... Not only to inflate my own ego, because people like what I do, but also just because it's like... I like contributing to the community that is very, very creative in what they're doing. Especially surrounding Has-Been and Helliver. And if I can contribute to that in some way and get some notoriety from doing it, then... all the better for it. Do I play Identify V? I don't know what that is, Emily. Val simps unite. I'm sure he'd be very happy to hear that. To be honest, like, there's so many of them ever since... Which is weird to me, actually. One thing I was gonna mention... It's so strange how, like, when Addict came out, everyone was like, Valentino's a bastard, we need to kill him. We need to kill him again and kill him until he's in, like, the lowest circle of hell possible and will never come out again. And then, all that time later, it's like, Mothman sexy. It's just funny to me, that's all. It shows that how visual design can really go a long way. Tamira, do I know Danganronpa? I know what I am aware of its existence. I know nothing about it besides that. Are you excited for episode 4 of Hell of a Boss? Right, I have a hot take about Hell of a Boss right now. Brace yourselves. I did not like episode 3. For a lot of reasons. Like, Drunk Moxie was great, the whole Luna acting awkward was nice, but something about episode 3 just really didn't sit well with me. It felt like it was trying so much harder to, I don't know, be like the adult show. Like, the insult strings and everything were kind of way overboard what they used to be. So I'm hoping if they can dial it back to, like, episode 1 and 2 levels for episode 4, then it's fine. Every series has a blip. I just didn't like episode 3, so if it's better than that, then I'll be fine with it. So we will see. Can I also just say that the soundtrack Daft Punk did for Tron Legacy, this, is amazing, even 11 years later. Fuck me. Christ. I'm assuming you say this Despair Rose. I have a lot of Has-Been Hotel merch. Right now, I'm wearing the long-sleeve variant of the Angel Trick and Treat shirt. I have at least about 4 other shirts with Angel stuff. I have pins of him, Husk, Valentino, Vox. I have Angel plush, Alistair plush, Fat Nuggets plush, Moxie plush. I can't help it. If I have a hyperfixation, I will buy stuff for him. Bellarol, from either Has-Been or Helliver, which characters would you say you relate to the most? In terms of Has-Been, Angel, for reasons of thinking that he wants to be taken seriously from past experiences. And in Helliver, Moxie, just because being exasperated by work colleagues is something I think we can all relate to. Why do I suddenly love him? Yeah, it seems funny when people started putting a voice to him, people then started saying, hey, maybe the Mothman's not so bad. Weeby, I don't know how long it's going to go on for. Last time I went way longer than I anticipate because we were just talking for so long, but we'll see. Maybe another couple of hours at most. It's not, like, past midnight yet, so I don't think it's too late for me. You're the reason I'm a Val simp. I'm sorry! I can't control that. Would you ever make some type of merch? I don't think I'm noteworthy of merch, and again, it's like I've said before when people have asked about things to do with donations. I would feel bad at, like, earning money from essentially doing stuff to other people's work. I would rather the artists get the money. I mean, you know, individual donations are, like, a different story or anything, but, like, merch wouldn't feel right to me, personally. It's 10:54 in England. Yes, it is. Almost 11. Can you, as Alistair, say the Kira Yoshikage your coffee pasta? Is there a coffee pasta for Yoshikage now? What is it? Is it just the one where he's talking about I live at this house, blah blah blah? Just wanted to pop in, see how work's been the best has-been hell work I've seen on YouTube. Keep it up. Thank you very much, Persistent Resistance. I endeavour to try, and continue to try. I mean, we have to have something to keep us occupied while we wait, right? Can you make Val say balls is life, brah? What are these references? I don't recognize half of these. Maybe I'm too sheltered. How have you mastered a pimp character and yet be such a cinnamon roll? Because I'm not a pimp, thankfully. That's my answer. I'm sticking with it. Would you accept if Viv asked you to voice Valentino? Duh. I would be stupid to turn that down if that ever happened. It won't, but if it ever did, then yes, absolutely. Do I like Helsing? I've never seen Helsing, so I can't tell you. DJ, can you for my simping powers? I'm assuming that you mean in the Val voice. I'm assuming. God. You see, the problem is the Val voice gets harder to do when the more I've been talking. Hello, baby cakes. I don't think that was very good. But again, you talk more and it's really hard to get to that growl that he has. Oh my god, Triss! Holy shit, blast from the past. Hi, what are you doing here? God damn, I was not expecting that, man. How have you been? Jesus. For those of you who don't know, Triss is a YouTuber who asked me to do some music for some things he was doing literally a decade ago. God damn, that has just like slapped me in the face with nostalgia, man. Holy shit. Thank you for being here. I hope you're surviving well given all the nonsense happening in the world. Damn. I felt like it was right in front of me. It's amazing what standing next to a microphone will do. Well, I'm glad you are, Triss, because that was like some of the first work that someone ever actually commissioned. Well, is commission the right word? Well, they asked me to do it for them. So thanks for the opportunity still. It's really good to see you again. That's a welcome surprise. That bloody 10 years old. I think I still have the original files on my hard drive somewhere. I'm pretty sure I do.
Can Angel try and pronounce Nangi Lol? Your fucking usernames are getting way overboard.
Willow Foe, do you have any Has Been Hotel headcanons or theories? I have plenty of headcanons about how I think characters would act in certain situations. I have no theories on the show, because I don't know. I'd like to see what they do first, and then theorize when we actually have more to work with than just the pilot episode. Pixelated, yes. Hollow Knight is like one of the best games ever made, and I can't wait for Silksong to come out. It's really, really good. If anyone hasn't played it, please do so. Dalamar, if you want to get into voice acting, I think I said this in the last stream as well, the first thing you should probably try and work on is just the acting part. You can do as many different types of voices and impressions as you can, but you need to be able to act out a scene. So the best advice I can have for that is find something that you enjoy in terms of performance and try and repeat that. And just practice that over and over. And then do it to another scene, so then you get a range of the sort of emotions that you can pull off. It is just a matter of practice. Anybody can do it with enough determination, and I'm sure you can as well. Could you maybe say Tamira in Lucifer's voice? Well, I hope that made your day. Oh god, yeah, pixelated radiant difficulty is something else. Holy hell.
Oh, well.
Christ. What are you hoping doesn't happen in Hell of a Boss or Has Been Hotel? That is a good question. Right, now the thing is, I could go off on a lot of long tangents about stuff like this, because when I really get passionate and caring about something, I have very strong opinions about said something. If there's one thing I want Has Been a Hell of a... Well, I'll start with Has Been first. I do not want them to fall into being nothing but shitbait. Because, unfortunately, from what a lot I've seen of how the crew themselves have been posting things and everything, they've been catering a lot towards that, and then they've been sacrificing focus on other important things. Like with the Instagram accounts, the whole travesty with them, it was like, we'll give all the characters Instagram accounts, that'll be fun as a side thing, and then we'll use it for nothing but, like, teasing ships that we like, and then completely ignoring the main character. Like, I'm pretty sure Charlie's account only had 2 posts total. It's like they forgot. Like, I just want them to focus on their story more than anything else. As for Helliver, I want them to actually make clear what their overarching story is trying to be, or if they're trying to make it sort of like a situation of the week kind of deal. Apart from that, I just want to see what they do next. Well, I do try my best, Weeby. People seem to enjoy what I do, so I will keep making it. In terms of little angel emoji video reacts, it'll probably mean that Cherub's going to show up. They've teased them before in earlier live streams. It's probably going to be an episode where they're there, if I had to guess. The vine of angel.
2 bros chilling in a hot tub because they're not gay.
This music's way too dramatic for this silliness. That's another track. What's your favourite thing about bean? Do you mean bean as in the gecko, or just beans as a vegetable? In terms of bean, anything she does is amazing. In terms of beans, is it the food? I don't know. Actually, Ninja, now you mention that one, I actually have seen that comic, and it was one I was debating doing for a while. There might be another one for the machine. In which case, I won't do it now, so I can do it properly later, if that's okay. Tamira, have you looked at the comic I recommended under the show and tell cover? I can't remember if you did, honestly. If you got a link, by all means, I'll have a look there. I don't know the context of the line, glow stick. I don't know if I could do that properly. So this is just such like a way more casual and relaxed than I ever anticipated it would be. Just me doing all these stupid references in has-been voices. Just gonna vibe to some Daft Punk and... What's the most difficult character for you to voice? Definitely Husk. Husk gives me so much trouble. I mentioned this in the last stream as well, but whenever I want to do Husk's voice, it has to be after I've woken up. Because for some reason, just after I've woken up, my voice has that sort of growl that he has. And I don't have to, like, really force it. Husk gives me the most trouble. Actually, I mean, Blitz, I would say Blitzo would probably give me the second worst, but I'm getting better at him. But it's still not the best. Can you do Alistair talking to Husk about antidepressant pills? I need lines, dude. I'm not good at making stuff up on the fly. Can you try speaking with a Scottish accent? Was that good? Man, I'm so sad Daft Punk's gone. I'm actually going to show you something that'll be quite cool going forward that is related to Daft Punk, just so I can show you some dirty little secrets of music production. I think you'll like it. You might have your mind blown a little bit. If your name is my mascot. Weeby, please don't put down your work like that. I think the little robot is adorable, and I want to pet his head. It's great, honestly. Alien, in terms of accents, do I know? I can make attempts at doing certain ones. I won't say I'm super proficient in any apart from the obvious American ones, because it's really easy. I mean, I can try. I am by no means diverse in that respect. Also, Zawanado! Time didn't stop. Oh no, that's a shame. What am I doing? J-Bullet, what game is my favourite? Bayonetta, either 1 or 2. They are... I'm convinced they are the best games ever created, and I will fight anyone who says otherwise. See, the horror isn't just in the comics, it's also in me screaming stuff. Also, Dave Glasses, you're very welcome. Honestly, sound design, I feel, I'm not saying this from just a software track. I'm not just saying this from a biased position of being a sound person, but I feel it's something that is often underrated in a lot of creative endeavors. So I'm glad more people are taking interest in it. Happy Hotel, Vox's voice is... It's a mixture of like 3 different types of distortion. There's one stuttering effect on there, and it's all very specific settings. It'd take a while to explain, but there's a lot that goes into his voice. Why am I amazing and kind? Oh. Well, because if you're otherwise, you're just not a very nice person to be around, are you? I suppose. Yes. Elisa? My voice doesn't hurt when I try and do husks. It's just that if I do it too much, it probably... Well, so yeah, it does, I suppose. If I do it too much, it hurts. If I do it in short bursts and only in specific areas, then it's fine. I can handle that. If you're still taking requests... Oh, Tessie Poo. Yeah, Soggy. I'll be going into more about how I actually made the Valentino cover a little bit later. But yeah, I think that's probably my favourite next to the Do What You Want dub, just because there was a lot that went into that one. I had to get like sound libraries for real guitars and all sorts of stuff to make that work. Oh yes, I'm drinking plenty, Tamira, don't worry. What do you use to create the effects for the certain characters? everything that I use for anything sound related is all done in FL Studio 20, but for a lot of the effects, it's either external plugin units for like reverbs and stuff, or it's stuff that's built into FL itself, and it's a mixture of different things. It depends on the character. Also, Happy Hotel. That's a good milestone to reach. Well done, man. Shows that there's a need for good voices out there. Keep at it. And thank you, Lisa. I try. It's all I can really say. Alyssa, okay. Yeah, the 911 melody was a nice little attempt at deception. Just because I wasn't sure how people were gonna react to me saying surprise I did both. But I will say Raphael did comment on it, and they did say that the middle scene scared them. So I'm quite proud of that, if I'm gonna be honest. Can you do a Kratos impression? I've never tried to do Kratos before. In fact, there's a reason I wouldn't be able to do it seriously if I couldn't, because I saw that one image that, oh god, what was his name? There's an artist on YouTube, not on YouTube, on Twitter, who does like stupid drawings, and he did one. He did one of Kratos saying, "I'm sorry, small bean," and now I can't take him seriously anymore. So hello there, little songbird. Delamar, it's a PC program, like it has to be done on your computer for that. I think there actually is a mobile version, but you won't have the same amount of features as you would on a computer. Can I do a Daxter impression? Oh god, I'm trying to think of a Daxter line that would work. I also don't know if I could do Daxter very well. I can't think of what he says. It's been so long since I played the Jack games. What kind of anime series is one of your favorites? I'm very picky about anime. I like JoJo currently, because it's just bonkers. But in terms of anything else, it's mainly just been like one-off series or like stuff that other people have recommended ages ago, like Soul Eater or Fullmetal Alchemist and stuff like that. I don't watch a lot of anime. What I have been watching a lot of recently, actually, though, is Kamen Rider. You guys are missing out. It's essentially like Power Rangers, but like 1,000,000 times cooler. Please give it a shot. It's so good. Well, you're very welcome, weirdo. It's weird taking requests. Like, that's not something I really did last time, but I am trying.
Was that a JoJo reference?
Everything's a JoJo reference, let's be real. Thoughts on The Thing, 1982. It is a masterpiece of horror. In both practical effects, in terms of suspense, in terms of Carpenter's direction, it is amazing. In every way. You're very welcome, Dalmar. As I said, when it comes to anything to do with sound, with enough practice, anyone can get to a good level. It's same as any skill. Happy Hotel Dubs, what do you want me to say specifically? As I'm not good at coming up with ideas on the fly. Like, for a lot of the things I do for the covers where I have to think about the dialogue and take time writing about what I want them to say to make it fit. As for that, Christiana, you probably will never find out. Unfortunately. Unless I do something, like, really cheeky and just wear a mask, so it's technically a face reveal, but nah. What is it like doing voices for characters? It's fun! It's also a good challenge to try and get better at acting stuff. Also, Weirdo... It's a shame, I've seen... Is it Fantocchio is how you say his name, or is it Fantocchio, because Italian? Either way. I've seen him crop up a bit, and I do admit his voice sounds very similar to Angel's, just without the broad Brooklyn accent, but I would need to listen to be certain and practice it. Well, Aelin, as long as I get... I mean, I have recognition now by almost 80 people being sat here listening to me talk, so... even that alone means a lot to me. Have you ever wanted to do a collab with another voice actor? Well... I have 2 different things potentially in the works. Triumphant brass to say so. Let me put on some actual other... This is way too majestic for just talking idly. Let's do this one. Still Daft Punk, by the way. RIP. In terms of collabs with other people, I have 2 potential ones. I'm doing a song one with some people from the Slice of Hell group. Check out their stuff, by the way. They're very, very good at what they do. Potentially doing a song with them. I've made the instrumental and I'm contributing some parts to it, and they're doing a voice of another character for that. There's also another collaboration that's another song, which I'll play a sample of the instrumental for you in a little bit so you can guess what it is. And they are exceptionally talented. And I'm hoping that it'll turn out fine when that gets done too. Also, yes, Tamira, whenever I change dialogue in a comic, because I want to try and present the... I want to present the comic as close to its original intent as possible, but sometimes the people who make these comics, like, English isn't their first language, so there's going to be mistakes. So I try and correct it as best I can, but I don't want to change the meaning of the original dialogue, so I just edit it so it's as close to the original line as possible while it still makes sense, if that makes sense. It's alright, Kautar, I believe that's how you say it. It's just nice that you stopped by at all. Thank you for being here. Christiana, probably waffles. What are you looking for in a comic when it comes to dubs? Really, 2 major things. One, it needs to be complete. So it can't be, like, in progress. If it's, like, a part 1 of a series, like, Cookie's Temptation dubs and the Rescue Revelations one, that's fine, but I need those individual parts to be complete so I can actually do the full story. I don't like doing a dub where the actual comic itself hasn't been finished yet, because that breaks it up too much. The second one is just, I just want it to have a chance for good acting. I don't have a lot of preferences over the type of content it is, in terms of who it involves and what's in there, but if it has a good chance for good acting, and moments like that, then I want those comics. So, like, the next Has-Been one I'm doing is very much a situation of this is a good chance to do some good emotive acting and some good sound design. The Alien one I'm doing has a chance for basically being in an Alien movie. Who doesn't want to do that? Take care, Bella. Thank you. Thoughts on kaiju movies? Godzilla is the king, and the very fact they're having to put up something that puts him against a giant monkey is frankly an insult to Godzilla, if I'm going to be honest. You're very welcome, Sam Chan. This is what I mean, like, ever since I've been on Twitter and people are kind of, like, being aware of what I'm doing and stuff, and they just show up and say, by the way, I love your stuff, and I had no idea. It's a bit surreal. Do you take requests or commissions by any chance? I'm always open to requests. I've not been commissioned to do one before, because, again, like, a payment for that sort of thing wouldn't feel right to me. But, I'm always open to requests and ideas. Dalamar, I have already at least 3 projects that aren't related to Has-Been. I've got one coming next week, which is related to Dead by Daylight. I have an Alien comic coming up as well. What's going to take a bit longer because there's a lot of sound that needs to go into that one. There's also a Spider-Man one, which will be fun. But again, that's going to take a bit more sorting out because there's a lot of sound in that too. Yes, Lisa, the original Alien movie is, like, easily one of my favorites. For good reason. There's a reason it holds up and why the latest attempts don't. Can we send requests via your Twitter? That's something I've actually been wondering about. Like, I've seen other people do, like, these short, sort of, like, audio-only clips on Twitter, and I don't know how to do that. But if I can figure that out, maybe. Well, I'm glad it helped out, Soggy Audios. Angel's voice isn't that difficult to do once you understand the way he pronounces certain words. Mostly that is just a matter of emoting him correctly. In terms of what words he emphasizes over other things. What was your favourite Has-Been comic dub to do and make? Oh, by the way, don't worry about asking lots of questions. That's the whole point of this. The most rewarding one was still the Alistair one, just because there was so much that went into getting that correct. Because it was more sound design than dialogue, so you really had to focus on getting all the details correctly. But there's been ones that are just kind of, like, sickeningly sweet that I like doing. So, like, the later half of Rescue Revelations was adorable. I really liked doing the Electric Love one. That was really cute as well. Oh yeah, Ninja, I knew that one. I think that I think the actual story is that when it first bursts out of him, it doesn't go correctly, so they have to improvise, and then when it sprays them all with the real blood, they weren't expecting that much. What's one thing you did this year to improve your sound designing skills? Honestly, get better sound libraries. You always need better effects so you're not just using the same ones over and over again, whether that's instruments or actual sound effects. And I'm always doing that, so... What exactly does Angel's voice emphasize? It's mainly the way he pronounces, like, certain things, like, you know... how do I try this? Like in vowel sounds where a normal person would say A, and it's like A. He has... It's really difficult to explain. You just need to pay attention to how that accent pronounces certain vowels in words to get it right. Thank you, Panda. It's always appreciated. How'd you do Arachnus' voice? Do Angel with growl, if I'm being honest. I had to come up with some way to try and make them related to each other. But it is mostly just Angel's voice, but lower and with a growl to it.
So the same way of pronouncing stuff.
What songs that you did covers for is your favourite? Do What You Want is still was the first, so I have bias towards that, but I really like the Valentino one I just did. Mostly because the attention it got is insane. On my SoundCloud page right now, it's almost become my second most played song ever, and the songs up on there that have been on there for years, and it's just taken off. Yes, Ailin, I said it earlier, I'm working with them on a music project. I'm contributing music, they're doing voices. Yes, vibe to Daft Punk. This is from their last album, Random Access Memories. Such a shame they're gone. Weeby, she's a leopard gecko. And leopard geckos come in so many different, like, patterns of spots and such. Stakami, I'm aware of what Little Nightmares is, I've never played either of them, but they seem fun. Azra? Anything I want to voice that you didn't have a chance to voice before? I still want to get better at Blitzar. I want to try Moxie one day, but he's going to be the hardest one of all to do out of any of them. Because if you don't sound exactly like him, it's just, it doesn't work. Do I have any has-been ships you would like to see canon? I got this question last time. I'm gonna set the record on ships at the moment, because my answer has evolved a little bit since the last time I answered this. I'm not one who usually gets into shipping culture in terms of OTP and all that other stuff. If I see artwork of characters in a certain way that just looks nice and it seems to fit their personalities, I will like it. Doesn't matter who they are. And as long as it doesn't contradict canon from what we've seen. I will say, though, there is one particular ship which I have a preference to seeing more of the others. But because I know how easily it is to devolve into arguments over said shipping, I'm not going to say what it is. But I do have one I like more than the others. But apart from that, I wouldn't say that I'm, like, hardcore into one and, like, dismiss all the other ones. It's like, I've seen so many good Charlie and Vaggy ones. I've actually seen some Charlie and Alistair ones that are quite sweet. I've seen Alistair and Angel, I've seen Angel and Husk, I've seen Arachnis and Serpentius, I've seen lots of Val and Vox lately, for obvious reasons. But yes, my official line is, all of them are cool if you don't contradict canon and it's done well enough, because then it's quite cute. But I do have one I prefer of the others, but I'm not going to say what it is because I do not want to start that argument. And I have my reasons for it, but... Yeah, Ailin, that's messed up. That's the reason why I said I don't want Has-Been to fall into shitbait, because people take it so seriously when it's just people having fun with characters they like. That's all it is. It's like Tamira's example. I've seen people who Angel and Val as a pairing together, but because of the fact that it's bad, because they like the potential for story that might bring out, stuff like that. That's fine, but then people then shit on them for encouraging toxicity and all sorts of stuff. It's like, guys, we've got a pilot episode and a music video. It's not that serious. Just let people have fun, okay? Please. That's the whole reason I'm doing this channel and this stream. It's just to have some fun. Yeah, but bottom line is, as long as you don't force it on anyone and you don't hurt anybody with what you like what you like. Talking straight facts. Well, someone has to say it. It's actually part of the reason I was so hesitant about getting a Twitter at first, because I would check on, like, artist pages for, like, comic updates or whatever else it would be, and... like, I would just see these arguments crop up, and it would be like, what? Guys, please, we should be better than this. Can Alistair say a wholesome, sweet message for me? Well, Elliot, I wouldn't go as far as to say cinnamon roll, but I hope the day finds you well. I'm casual and to the point with my opinions. I'm biting my tongue a lot. I could go off on really long tangents about this sort of thing. But I'm trying not to, because that's not going to be good for anybody. Yeah, that's just the nature of the internet, Hans. It's too easy to start arguments.
Hey, Bob, I'm looking at what Jack was talking about.
What are some bad habits I have that I hate? Probably just, like, being too critical of what I'm doing. Like, I'll agonize over the details of, like, a certain recording take or a musical choice for ages, and I just can't let it go. And I need to learn how to do that more so I can just leave it and stop fussing. Enjoying cosplay. I'd like to do cosplay. I have pieces of stuff that I could do for a cosplay of a bunch of different people, but I've never done it really before.
I don't know whether that does you any good, but there's something out there.
Bloody Daft Punk. They're only doing basic synth chords and it still sounds great. Right, well, speaking of Daft Punk, I think it's time I showed you a... Let's just fade that out. I just thought, I kind of threw this together just to kind of have something fun to show you in terms of how we do sound and stuff. So, I'm assuming that people know what the song One More Time by Daft Punk is. Like, everyone must have heard it, right? It's like one of their most famous songs. Do we know? God, it's funny the chat takes one. Yeah, it's like one of their most famous tracks they ever did, that if you hear it, you'll instantly recognize it. Well... I'm going to show you the dirty little secret on how they actually made One More Time. Because if people listen to it, you can tell it's made by sampling something. But people are unaware of how to do it properly and how to sample it and stuff. I'm just going to show you how they put it all together just as a bit of fun before we then move on to the Valentino cover. And speaking of him, here he is now. Right, so this is a bit of a project that I set up that's basically just how the song was arranged. So, as people can probably tell, or as they have said already, the song's sampled by a song by Eddie Johns called More Spell on You. And if you listen to the song on its own, you wouldn't... It's quite clever what Daft Punk have done to make this, so I'll just play a sample of the original song. So it's like, wait, how is this that song? It doesn't sound a thing like it, does it? Skip forward a bit. Did anyone hear the bits in there? Did anyone hear the bits that they used for that? Just in that little section there? Listen again. The pieces of... One one more time is in this song somewhere. So if we zoom in on this section here, which is where they took most of their samples from, and we stop right there. I just close this down a little bit. So just this little section here. And if we loop that, does that sound familiar? Does that sound just like the original at all? And they have this little bit here, which is just... And then there's another section over here. Which is at the second part of it. Where's the next bit? And then the last part is this bit here. So those three samples together are essentially what Daft Punk used to create One More Time. And as you can see here at the very top, I've cut these samples out. Let me just mute all this. And arranged them so they sound like the original song. So the first sample we have, I should also point out I've slowed these down and I've pitched them to the correct pitch of everything. So the first sample. Then we've got this little bass stab here, which is just to fill it. Then we have the second stab, which is kind of like the second chord for everything. And then the last one, just like that. So then, if we play all that together when it's been arranged, it sounds something like this. And now, of course, it sounds a bit flat at the moment, so what Daft Punk did after that is that they then ran it through some EQ, which essentially gave it some more bass, so it sounds heavier. They increased the high end, so it sounds a bit crisper. They then ran it through what we call a limiter. And then if we then play that as it is now with that processing involved... So, yeah, very close to the original, but you'll also remember that in the original song, there's a kick drum on top of that. And the kick drum, whenever it sounded off... So if I just turn this off... if you play this with a kick drum... Hang on. I've done something wrong here, hang on. There we go. So in the actual original song, you'll remember that every time that there was a kick drum, the song kind of pulsed in time with the music, and normally it wouldn't do that. To do that, what Daft Punk ended up doing is that they used a technique that we call sidechaining. What that essentially is that we've got the kick drum, so just this on its own. We have that routed to this first track here. What sidechaining has done, if you look down in this section, is that we've sent the sound of the kick to another channel. And sidechaining lets us use that sound to trigger something else. So in this instance, we're using this little device here called a limiter. So that every time... Let me just mute these so you can see what I mean. Excuse me. Yeah, it's not going to do it unless I'm playing it. But in the limiter, what we've essentially told the program to do is that every time the kick drum plays, we drop the volume of the samples. And if you adjust the settings of that using all these bits here, that essentially causes the track to pulse and bounce in time with the music. So if I turn all that on now, it'll sound like this. See what it's doing here? And then we add in a bit of percussion, and then you've got the song. And that's essentially that. But then you're wondering, wait a minute, Paranoid DJ, they also did those vocals that were incredibly sort of robotic and stuff. Well, don't worry, because I did the liberty of recording some of those myself using that same effect, so you end up getting this. So that's the dirty little secret behind how you made Daft Punk. I mean, for the longest time, people were wondering what sample they used to make this stuff. And then when they finally made it and they figured out the samples, I've seen people trying to attempt to get close to this, and they do get very close. They use the same samples and they time it almost correctly, but they don't have the same level of processing to make it do that. So I just wanted to show that off because I thought it was fun. It was something I was toying around with in the wake of Daft Punk splitting up, because I just wanted to kind of show off and say... I mean, this is not to trivialize what Daft Punk did, by the way. I should point out that they had to do all of this editing on programming and equipment that was way, way more basic than this. So what they did back then to make this song was mind-blowing, and no one had ever done it before. This is just an insight into how they did it. So that was something a bit fun, wasn't it? I'm sorry if you were saying things in the chat, because when I have the program open, I can't read the chat very easily. Let me just scroll by what I missed. I've cracked the code. What is this? Yeah. But that is just one part of the behind-the-scenes stuff that I wanted to show this evening. The next thing that I'm going to bring up, we're going to go into details about the Valentino cover, because people really liked that, so I'm going to show you how I made it. For those of you who don't know or aren't aware of this, because I'm not sure how many people notice in the credits that I do this, all the instrumentals that I use in my cover songs I make from scratch. So I don't just take ones that exist, I make them myself, because then if I need to change the key of it, or if I need to do extra things to it, it makes sense. My general process for doing a cover song is to make the instrumental first, and then after I've made the instrumental, I then finish that, render it out, and then I import it again, then record the vocals on top of that. So I actually have two different projects, one for just the instrumental, and then one for the vocals that go on top of that. Let me just get some music back on while I'm waiting for this thing to load, because there's a lot to load. Okay, I think we're loaded. That was a small little interlude. Okay, so let me just shrink everything down. And with that, back in the program. So this is the Valentino cover, just the instrumental and all of its associated parts. The first thing I ever do when I make one of these instrumentals is that I always have the original song playing on top. This is so I can reference back to it and make sure that I'm keeping it as accurate sounding as possible. So in this case, I was listening along to the original song and then choosing all my drums and everything to make sure they fit the original. So the song itself is actually deceptively simple. Most of the thing that carries it in the original is the vocals on top of that. So, you know, in this instance, I've got separate things for different elements. So I have just the kick, I've got the bass of the kick, I got some Latin instrumentation, which I've sequenced here. And that's a sample that's like used in almost everything, and then we've got a crash sample. And that's essentially the drums, and each of those are linked to their own separate channel on the mixer here. So if you play that over... Again, not actually having to do a lot with them in terms of effects-wise, because the percussion is quite simple. When you start getting onto the melodic parts, that's where it starts getting a bit interesting. In this version, there's two different bass noises that play. In the verses, you have a sound that's like this, which is essentially... It's a kick drum sample that's taken from a drum machine called an 808, which has that really long sort of... You might hear it a lot in like hip-hop and rap music, that really sort of low thud. And then the second bass line is actually a proper bass synthesizer. Flourished with an acoustic guitar. And speaking of guitar... I mentioned earlier that I actually downloaded entire sound libraries to make the guitars sound nice, which, if we open it up, is this. This is a program called Contact, and what Contact is it's kind of like a giant database of real instrumental noises. In this case, this is a set of sounds where... the guitar itself has been recorded, like a real guitar has been recorded playing every single note in every possible variation. And it's put all together in this program, and then when you program in the notes, these are real guitar noises. And you can adjust the harshness at which they're plucked, you can do all sorts of stuff with it. And then on top of that we have flourishes. And then, what was this one? Oh yeah, this was the electric guitar thing where you can hear it mostly in like the breakdown section in the middle. Same process, it's another sound map of like actual electrical guitar. And then we've also got some strumming guitar in the same way. Just to emphasize things. There's other sort of minor elements, like there's like a xylophone that just plays on the offbeat. There's the main string sample, which is kind of like the recurring melody of the song. And again, the strings are taken from a real sample as well. Put all that together. Etc. Now, obviously, this song isn't in the original key of the normal version of the song. The original version is in a much... The key itself is lower, but the singers sing much higher, and trying to do those voices at the range that the original song is in just does not sound right at all. So I've essentially changed the key so that it was easier to sing in Angel and Vox's voices. Let me just load up now the vocal part so you can see how I assemble all that together. And this is also like some general things that I've been doing for general vocal processing, is that you'll notice certain things that I do in like chorus sections and stuff to make things sound wider or nicer or anything like that, but we'll get into that when we get there. Again, I apologize if I'm missing things in chat, but when this program's like open and loading, I literally can't read it. So I'll answer when I can. Okay, I think we've got that loaded up now. So this is the project where the vocal parts are in there. So I split it up into essentially doing, you know, I've got Val's voice on its own.
Hello, baby.
Etc. But I split all this up so that I had all of Angel's parts in one place. with like different variations. Then I have all of Vox's parts down here. So if we mute everything, I'll show you the most interesting parts. This is usually how I make the choruses because they sound the most full and have the most potential for harmony. So for recording the chorus as Angel, I first do a take where it's literally just the I didn't know. Oh, let me get rid of the instrumental, so it's like I didn't know when I met Valentino, I was giving him control. So that's just the line on its own, and it sounds like okay, but on its own it sounds very kind of minimal and not very good. So what we do is that I then do another take, where I then have a separate channel, where you'll notice this version has the voice sort of panned out to your left and your right ears to make it sound fuller. I didn't know when I met Valentino, I was giving him control. You play that with the original. I didn't know when I met Valentino, I was giving him control. It sounds a lot wider. It sounds like there's a bunch of people singing at once, even though it's only two different audio sources. This bottom one here is essentially this second one, but I've pitched it down an entire octave. And that's just to give the voice a little bit more weight. You can't usually hear this listening to the full song unless you really pay attention. But in the context of adding everything else... Oh, when I met Valentino, I was giving him control. It adds like a bit of sort of like a lower end to make it even better than that. Now, Angel's parts are fine, because he doesn't have to do a lot of harmonization. Vox, on the other hand, was an entire different set of circumstances. So if I just have only his parts... It should be easy just to mute Angel at this point. Yeah, there's a lot of like different takes and parts that go into this, so I'm having to mute quite a lot at once. And of course I still have the original version up here so I can actually know when I'm supposed to be singing things and in what place. So if we mute all the vocoder parts, except for that. So Vox's chorus line works in pretty much the same way as Angel's did, in that I have two takes, one where he's singing the chorus on its own and then another that kind of pans it out. I didn't know when I met Valentino control. And you'll see here in certain areas I have this effect that makes his voice stutter. Stuck in his melody. Stuck in his melody. Let it go. Now if you do that in certain places, it adds that sort of rhythmic aspect to it. You can hear that mostly in the verses here. So to say to sweep me off my feet, I should have never heard a word he said to me. I was caught. Now it's there that you can hear it, but it doesn't sort of interrupt the way he's singing normally. Now of course on its own that sounds fine, but there's other parts to Vox's vocals, and that involves using a vocoder. For people who don't know what a vocoder is, it's the thing that makes your voice sound like this. You're essentially running the voice through a synthesizer and changing the sound that way. So you end up having things that sound like this. You put in the rest of the vocals, and it ends up sounding much richer. I didn't know when I met Valentino, I was giving him control over me, now I'm stuck in his melody, etc. And then for the final part where all the vocals, this, I have to admit, I'm actually really proud about how this sounds on its own. But just this last bit here where they're all singing at once, including with all these vocoder parts. Just try it. When I met Valentino, I was giving him control over me. Now I'm stuck in his melody. Let me go, Valentino. Let me go, Valentino. Nope, almost had the vocals stuck then. Yeah, the vocoder is doing a lot of the bits here. Except for this bit where it is actually me harmonizing with myself.
I should've known not to trust Valentino. I should've known not to trust Valentino.
Etc. But that's essentially how I put all this stuff together. There's a lot of things that go into vocal production that people aren't aware of. I mean, it helps when you are running off a reference. Like I say, I have the original song playing up here, so I know what to sing and when to sing it, including all the ad-lib bits and the vocal flourishes, which took a lot of practice to get right. The Val parts are just literally, they're just filler to fill in the space, including this bit, which might please some of the simps. Can I say laughing as Val is, like, really fun, because you can do stuff like that. But yeah, that's essentially how I do my cover voices. So then when you finally put it all together and turn that off, you end up getting...
I didn't know when I met Valentino. I was living in control. Now I'm stuck with this melody. Let me go, Valentino.
And the rest is history. You've probably all heard the song like a billion times all over anyway. So so yeah, that's the dirty little secret behind what I've done to make this song. And it's all wonderful and really cool and nice, I think. But what I think... well, I should say what I think is rather irrelevant. It's a matter of how you've all responded to it. And honestly, the reaction to the Valentino cover has been kind of insane. Like I said, it's almost got like it's almost got like 10,000 plays in just about a week on my SoundCloud alone, which is almost more than the Alistair cover had, and I thought that one was the most popular one I had. So I really have all of you to thank for all that and bring it to attention, and also sending like all this fan art in of it. I genuinely didn't realize it would have that sort of impact on people, or that they would like it that much. Let's have some background music again. Alright, I can see the chat again now, so let me just catch up with the rubbish I've missed after rambling on for that long. Oh good, it's people praising me. That's just what I wanted. God, that sounds so big-headed. But yeah, that's how I make my things. I mean, you saw how I did the Temptation one the last stream I did. That is how I make the music. Ooh, which reminds me, actually, before we end, I was gonna say I was gonna show a little brief sample of the next song that I'm working on in a potential, not potentially, it is going to be a collaboration. I'm not going to tell you the name of the song. This is just the instrumental, and it's not finished yet. This is just going to be a sample of it. But I want to see if anybody can guess what it is. I'm not going to tell you if you're right or not. I just want to see if anyone can guess what it is. This is going to be the next song that I'm doing as part of a collaboration with people. Do we have any guesses? This is all freshly made, by the way. Do we have any ideas what it could be? Come on, do we know what it is? Now again, that's not finished, that's just a little bit of a sample of it, but that's what we've got coming, and that's going to be part of the duet collaboration that we're doing. So look forward to that. So I'm not going to tell you whether you're right or not. I just want to see what you all said. Because I'm cruel. Right, take care, Christiana. Thanks for being here and simping over my rubbish. So yeah, we'll go for a little bit longer. This stream isn't probably going to be as long as the last one. Because I've got my behind the scenes stuff out of the way, as much as I was kind of rushing the explanations, but how could I DJ? Well, I'm just terrible like that. Sebastian, I have a bachelor's degree in music production. And also, I was doing sound and music before I'd learned it officially, so it's a bit of both. I said Pixley, we're not ending just yet. But I'm not going to go quite as bad as it was last time, where we just kept going for like another 2 hours after I'd done the stuff. Samchan, the program I was using is a suite of instruments called Contact. It's by a... Well, it's called Complete Contact. It's by a company called Native Instruments. The individual instruments that are in there you have to buy separately. The particular one I was using there was, I think it was Pro Guitar Sessions 2. Can I speak different languages? No. I tried learning French when I was in high school, but I was terrible at it and I don't like it. It's too hard for me. Are you going to be taking a master's degree on sound design as well? No. It's been years since I got that bachelor's degree, and I feel that a formal education can only take you so far in something as subjective as sound. You really need to do it to learn more. There's basic rules you follow, like, you know, don't make the bass too powerful and... Excuse me, don't, you know, make things too loud or too soft or anything. Make sure everything's balanced. But... You know, the best experience is doing it yourself and learning as you go. What does a day in the life of Paranoid DJ normally look like? Well, in lockdown, it usually involves me being at my computer all day, either playing games or doing audio work. It's not very exciting. Well, thank you, Willow. And Vitris, I think that's how you say it, or Vitrice. I'm not good at pronunciation names, but thank you. Yeah, if the opportunity to be Valentino ever came up, I would take it. It's not going to happen, because I just know the way that these things are probably going to be organised with the show going forward by an actual studio. That it's not likely they're going to do like a casting call like they did beforehand. I'm probably also going to make like another rule going forward a little bit. I appreciate guys' enthusiasm and stuff, but could we please not roleplay while you're in the chat? I know you just want to have fun with the characters and everything, but it's kind of interrupting people's having questions and stuff. Please. Thank you. What do I like in a villain? It depends on the villain. I like having villains that have good motivations, or that they have reasons for why they are who they are. But then I also like villains who are just nasty because that's just how they are. You know, like Valentino's a classic example of he doesn't need complex motivation. He's just a nasty person who's just nasty for the sake of being nasty, and that's all we know. And that's fine, he fits that character well. So yeah, it depends on the context of the situation. Megan, dude, please laugh as Val. Well, his laugh's actually quite easy, because people have said it's similar to my own, funnily enough, and except I just voice it deeper. Let me think about this. I still think most of my attempts at doing some of these things tonight are really subpar, but I've been like talking straight for like 3 hours, so 2 hours even. Take care, Lana. Thank you for being here. My poor heart. Yeah, it's funny. I guess it's just part of my voice slips through when I'm doing the laughs of any character. And I'm also really surprised that people are responding to it so well, because I really don't think it sounds that good without the insect effect on it. Favorite villain ever? Oh, God, that's a good one. I don't know. There's a lot of potential ones I like, but I don't know which ones. Do you play any instruments? I've self-taught myself the piano, and I did learn the cornet, or the trumpet, to a grade 5 standard. So those two. Is it hard trying to make a more evil laugh for a character? It depends on the character and how you want them to sound. Like, for Valentino, it's just a case of you make it very low, you make it very dragged out. It's not like like a mad scientist evil laugh where it's really theatrical and over the top. It depends on the character. Austin, the only auto-tune that's used on my voice is when I'm doing the vocoding for Vox, which isn't auto-tune. It's a different effect entirely. And if I need to correct very, very minor mistakes in a certain take. There are people out there who abuse auto-tune not for its intended purpose, where they use it as an excuse for can't singing, or that they can't sing. I have only ever, and only ever will use it to correct very, very minor mistakes in, like, one take. In a very specific area. It's not applied to the full thing. Most of it is my voice. Do I ever make my own sound samples? For sound effects, I do. There's multiple instances where, like, an effect of, like, clothes moving and stuff, or, like, a movement of, like, things hitting, has been me recording that sound myself. Also, Silent Hill, please stop being scary. Thanks for being here, Mai. Good luck with your own stream. What made you decide to try voice acting? I just wanted to try something different. I'd already made loads of music and sound things before, but I'd never gone into the realm of acting it. And, you know, there's Dragon Scale who helps me with some of the dubs sometimes. We just impersonate characters back and forth to each other anyway, so... How do I do the laugh? That's a hard thing to explain. I don't think I can. It's something you just do. And yes, Alien, some singers don't even need auto-tune. I am not that good. As I said, to get the vocal takes that you hear there, that is not me singing a single thing in one take. That is the best of a bunch of different takes stitched together. I can't sing that consistently. I'm not that talented at singing. So there's a little bit of studio trickery going on in there. It is all me, but it's the best bits of my performance put together. It's not me doing it consistently all at once. Do you mean like protagonists or antagonists more? I find the antagonists are more interesting, because obviously they're an obstacle in the idea of the story. But if the protagonist is, like, characteristic enough and endearing enough, then they'll obviously take the spotlight. Can you say as Vox? I hate all errors. Except one. Yeah, MLG. There are some people who can just do it, and they're very good. I can't. I need to have multiple attempts to do it, to make it sound like that. How do I do my Val voice? It is a happy accident. It's essentially me doing the lowest sort of, hey baby, kind of voice that I can do. And then I run it through something called monophonic time stretching. And if you do that too much to a sound, it causes that buzzing audio artifact in the voice, which then causes his voice to sound like that. So which character can you voice the best? Angel, just because it's the closest to my natural speaking range. And I've done it so much I've done it so often at this point.
It's really easy to just slip in and out of, you know?
Thoughts on people doing covers of my covers? Is that a thing? I mean, surely if they're doing a cover of my cover, they're just doing a cover of the original song. Like, I don't take ownership of the song just because I do it. Boy. I had a feeling when I was wondering when that one would get asked.
Oh, Ashley.
Bean right now is hiding away in her hide. She was running around a lot earlier today. I had her out and crawling around stuff, and she's having a rest. Favorite has-been character? I mean, it used to be the obvious choice of Angel, but the more that I've seen people do, like, different fan work of stuff, I've come to like... Well, obviously Alistair. I like Pentious a lot more than I used to. Val, obviously, even though he hasn't had a single word of actual dialogue, I like him a lot. For the reasons that he's a bastard, so people don't start trying to be critical. You know, that was the strangest thing I came across this week. I came across this, I've come across, like, a few different things where people are being critical of the show and everything, and they're fine to do that. Like, we want to be critical of the things that we like so that they can be better. But then I saw, like, they name-dropped me in it twice, and I was like, that's weird, I didn't expect to see my name there. Yes, Angelique. I was suggested to do that one a while ago, and it has been something I've been tempted to try. And the Aftermath one, because I think there was a follow-up to it. That might be the next one I do after the current lot I'm doing.
Don't be embarrassed. Oh, Haley.
I think if people hate Valentino, it's because they've done, like, a good job on making him unlikable for that reason. but people like to hate the villains, and he's got a very good visual design. Man, I'm running low on steam, guys. Might have to call it soon. I said I wasn't going to go as long as the last one. The last one was like 3 hours. And we got through a lot. And I did the voice requests, considering that I haven't actually tried doing them since last time. But yeah, we'll go for a couple more minutes. And then we'll leave it. I'm afraid I don't speak Spanish, Caramello. So I can't. Also, Samchan, I wouldn't say it's embarrassing. It's more flattering, more than anything else, that you think I do it well. I mean, I don't want to try it. I never try and outdo Michael, because you can't. He is Angel. I just try and interpret the character as I can while matching the source material. Yeah, my throat's starting to wear out, god damn it. Right, we'll do one more last round of questions. If you've got anything burning you need me to know, I'll answer all of them as best I can. And then we'll call it. Any games on the PS5 or Xbox Series you're looking forward to? I don't own either of those consoles, but in terms of new games coming out, Nier Replicant Remake and Resident Evil Village are the two that spring to mind. How long does it take to make a comic though? But that depends entirely on the comic itself. Some of the really long ones, like the Alistair one and the Rescue Revelations, the one took a solid week of work. Some of the shorter ones, like the most recent Asking Price one, was done in about a day. More of these streams? I'd like to. I enjoy doing them, regardless of how many people show up. I think it's fun to do. It's just, I need to get better at talking for this long period of time, because, again, it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes we're coming up to. And I don't usually speak at this length for that long. Do you simp for any has-been characters? I'll prefer not to answer that one. Use your imagination. Also, Lady Dimitrescu, I want her to break my spine. So that should say all it needs to about her. The only reason I simp for Val is because of you. Well, I really hope that, like, whoever they choose to do his voice comes close in that respect, if I'm being honest. Well, thank you both, Tina and Sam. Yeah, I've focused so much energy on this, like, it's kind of weird how much recognition they've gotten when I really didn't think they would, so I'll say thank you to all of you for showing up and continuing to watch and do what I do. And listen to, I suppose.
Hey, you want to pet Nugs, Aelin?
Yeah, it's a matter of how perspective. I interpret Valentino in one way, some people do it in another way. We just don't know because he hasn't got a voice yet. It's all good. Right. Well, with the end of that particular song, because I've just been playing the Silent Hill 3 soundtrack. I think it's just gonna be the soundtrack for what I do every time I do one of these, because it just seems to work. I'm going to call it, because it's now 20 past midnight where I'm sitting. So thank you once again for everyone showing up and asking all these questions and being very supportive of all the stuff I've been doing in regards to the music and the covers, and also all the Twitter stuff, because that's a brand new world for me that I am still trying to get used to using and working properly, so thank you all for that. As I said, in terms of upcoming projects, I will have Has Been one next week. I think it's one that's gotten quite a bit of traction, and it might please some of the Angel and Husk fans. After that, I have one based on Dead by Daylight, which I found and needed to do because it's just really good. So that'll be coming on after that. Hopefully both of them next week if I work hard on them enough. And then outside of that, there's the other song collaboration, which I had you all guessing at, and we'll see how that goes. So, yeah. Thanks for all coming to stream number 2. We'll do this again sometime. Maybe. Eventually. Who knows? And we'll carry on from there, shall we? Have a good night, guys. I'll see you all later.